we're doing a training, and it's going to be a live training on the JAP method. So today is a live training on how to do the JAP method. If you're struggling with anxiety, depression, if you're struggling with rumination, anger, heartbreak, and you want to get in control of those feelings, if you want to stop the suffering that you're going through, there's very good news. And the good news is that you are able to regulate your nervous system. You just need to know the tools. And I'm going to give you an incredible breakthrough tool today, which is the JAP method. I'm going to go in detail on how to actually utilize the JAP method. And we're doing this live. We have around 30 on our Zoom call. Anyone in the TikTok, we have 44 in the room on TikTok. We want to encourage you to come over to the Zoom call so you can get a better visual, because I'm going to be sharing screen so that you can see actually how we do the JAP method. The JAP method is a process by which we take the subconscious perseverations that we're ruminating on, that we're having anxiety over, and we solve them using the power of the conscious mind. It's very simple. It's very scientific. You see, the reality of your anxiety, depression, anger, ruminations is that they feel like you can't control them because you initially are not controlling them. They are being influenced and prompted by the subconscious mind. All of your emotions hinge on your perceptions. I repeat, all of your emotions hinge on your subconscious perceptions. That is the thoughts, the way the subconscious mind sees a situation. It is not the situation that creates the emotion. So you might be getting yelled at by a spouse. It's not getting yelled at that makes you angry or sad or hurt or anxious. It is your perception of the situation. So the way your subconscious mind perceives the yelling will determine how you feel about it. If your subconscious mind perceives your spouse yelling as a violation of some of your values, then you will receive a negative emotional state. If you become frightened because you're perceiving that what they're doing is dangerous to you, then you will feel the sensation of anxiety. If you perceive that they're violating you, but it doesn't frighten you, but it makes you feel like you need to fight back, then you will feel the sensation of anger. If you feel powerless to do anything about it, but you feel it's unacceptable that they're treating you that way, then you will feel the sensation of sadness. All of your emotions hinge on your perceptions, and that is incredible news, because once again, you have the ability to regulate your own emotional state. How can you do this? Use the JAP method. Use the JAP method. How do you do that? Grab your pen, grab a piece of paper. You're going to throw a line right down the middle of the page, and you're going to start organizing your thoughts. JOT stands for Journaling Organizes Thoughts. So use this method to organize your thoughts. And when you do so, you'll find that it will help you to feel better, because when your thoughts are organized and balanced, then your emotions will be organized and balanced. You can learn to understand yourself better, and it will help you to be regulated and be able to move through the world and with more balance. So I'm going to share my screen with you and show you exactly how to do that right now. So when you start the JAP method, there's 3 things that I want you to remember. Stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll is a simple 3-step process that you can remember to help you know how to do the JAP method when you're in the middle of feeling anxiety, depression. It can feel like you're on fire emotionally. But stop, drop, and roll just like you would do when you're on physical fire, can help you to burn out the flames, to suppress the flames of your out of control emotional state. So you're going to stop. That means you're going to pause and meditate, asking yourself, okay, what am I feeling right now? And what are the perceptions of the mind that have made me feel this way? Was I reminded of my ex-girlfriend? Was I just thinking about something scary coming up in the future? Take a moment. The stop process is allowing you to actually reflect and meditate on what is causing the emotion you're feeling. The drop process is dropping down, that is going deeper into the subconscious. You're going to do this by asking yourself these questions. Why is this so important to me? Why does this scare me so much? Why does this make me so sad? By asking questions like that, you're going deeper into the subconscious, and your answers will help you to be able to access your deepest subconscious feelings and thoughts. The reason you're feeling the emotional wave or the emotional pain is because your subconscious is trying to communicate to you. And then finally, you want to roll over the situation like you would roll over a coin or a rock so that you can see the other side of it. We're going to change the perception by changing the perspective. When we switch our perspective on a situation and we're able to see the situation as more balanced, then we're able to balance our emotions. And here's how you do that. So let's say this white screen represents a blank piece of paper. First thing you want to do is put a line right down the middle. The left side of your page is going to represent your subconscious mind. The right side of the page is going to represent your conscious mind. Okay? And then you want to start writing down on the left-hand side of the page what it is that's giving you such anxiety in this moment, or that's making you feel crushing depression, or that's making you so angry, or that you're ruminating over. Now, please understand this process is highly effective. I use it with all of my clients, and it is effective 100% of the time with my clients. Furthermore, I'm teaching it to you, and I teach it to the therapists that train under me. This is a powerful psychological tool, and it works. So pay close attention, take notes, and ultimately, in the end, if you have any questions, I'll try to get those answered for you, okay? So on the left-hand side here, I want to write down what is bothering me. So in this example, let's say I'm experiencing rumination. And what am I ruminating over? Well, I'm ruminating over the fact that I got dumped. So when I stop, I meditate and realize that what's got me really upset is that I got dumped. Okay, very good. Now, it's only part of the battle to identify what happened. We're going to have to go deeper. So how do we do that? We're going to ask ourselves questions such as, why is this so important to me? So when I ask myself that question, why is it so painful to me, so important to me that I got dumped? Why is this such a big deal? Then the answer I come up with is, well, it's not right because I did everything for this person. And it feels not fair that they would just dump me after I've done so much for them. I was a good boyfriend. So I write that down. Okay. Now, in some cases, I have to go even deeper into my subconscious and ask myself again, okay, but why does that bother you? Right? So like if I did that in this case, I say, okay, fine. Why does that bother me? Well, it bothers me, I guess, because I feel like people should treat me decently, and I don't feel like she did. Now we're ready. This was the dropping process. So as we've dropped down, we've gone deeper into the subconscious. Okay. So now once I feel like I've really got the subconscious expressed, and I may even start to notice some childlike thinking in my subconscious mind, I'm ready to roll this over. Now, rolling over means I'm going to go ahead and jump into the right side of the page. Okay, so when I go on the right side of the page, I'm going to the other part of my mind. What part is that? Now we're going into the cerebral cortex and the prefrontal cortex, where all the logical thinking and the emotional regulation is. That's where all the wisdom is. If I'm a spiritual person, then I see that part as my more spiritual side. Christians see this part as their mind of Christ, right? And the Buddhists, right? They see that says their Buddhist mind, right? Because ultimately what we're doing is, according to the wisdom, the greatest wisdom that we've learned, we need to tap into that wisdom. And when we're tapped into that wisdom, that higher mind, now we can give advice to another person. We can minister to someone. We can teach them, right? This is the mind where we're able to preach and write books and give instruction, right? We all have this part of our mind because we're really great at solving other people's problems. So we have to access it by going into what will be basically a pretend exercise. So what I like to pretend is that this person here on the left hand of the side is my son, or in your case, it could be your daughter. But I relate to the idea that it could be a young man who's struggling with these same things, right? And so when I go over here, I go into my father mind, or in your case, it's going to be your mother mind, right? And you're able to answer the questions and the concerns from that standpoint. So now that I've got myself there in that mindset, I'm going to play pretend. For the JAP method to work, you must trust the process. So just play pretend. Okay, don't try to outsmart yourself. Just play pretend. If my son said to me, "Dad, I feel upset because I got dumped. And that really bothers me because I did everything for this woman and it was not fair. She didn't treat me decently according to the way that I treated her." What would I say to my son? I might say something like, "Son, I'm really sorry for what happened to you, but life is not fair." And some people will take advantage of you. And some people won't appreciate you. Some people will use you. Some people are cold and they lack empathy. But son, I don't ever want you to let that change you. The reason why you feel hurt is because you have a good heart. Because you would not feel hurt if there was no love. And you have a loving heart. That shows that you're a good person, son, and I'm proud of you. Now I want you to be proud of yourself. And I want you to move forward in your life. And be good, not for the way that people will treat you, but because that's who you are. So then you write all that down, all that wisdom that came out. You write all that wisdom down on the right-hand side of the page. And then what happens to you? What happens to your emotions? They float away, right? What happens is they balance out. If you were having anxiety and it was on a scale of 0 to 4, let's say your anxiety was a 4, when you get into this mindset here on the right-hand side, your anxiety will come down from a 4 to a 1. In some cases, a 0. It'll calm you down. If it was rumination that had you going, Your rumination will stop in that moment. You'll be able to do something else with yourself. Go get something to eat, get working on your project, start working on your book. If the situation was depression, you suddenly feel well enough after doing this process to get up, take the shower, move forward, to take forward steps in your life. It's that simple. Why does it work? Well, it's just scientific. You see, because when you're stuck here in the subconscious perseverations, this is just producing chemicals into your system that match this situation. This situation is saying, I have values. My values are not being they're being violated in my reality. I have values. My values are being violated in my reality, and that's all that's happening. You just keep perceiving that my values are being violated. My values are being violated. So what do you get? Rumination, depression, anxiety, all these bad feelings, and it just keeps going in your head. Like my values are being violated. When you organize it and you set it down on a piece of paper and you jump over to the other side, you're no longer underthinking. Now you're using the full brain. And the more you do this, the more wise you become, the better you get at utilizing the conscious mind, the higher self. Okay. So I'll show one more example, and then we'll do a live demonstration with real life volunteers, so you can see this in action. Okay. So maybe someone in the audience can give me an example of something that might make someone feel anxious or depressed. And you can throw that in the chat, and I can use one of your examples. Visiting family for the holidays. We're going with that. Okay. So I noticed that I'm feeling anxiety. I'm like in the kitchen, I was just washing dishes, and all of a sudden it just hits me. I get this anxiety attack. I go, okay, hold on. Let me breathe. Okay. I'm breathing. Okay. I put down the dishes. Roman said, stop, drop, and roll. First thing I need to do is stop. So I put everything down. I go and sit down in my living room or at my desk, or I got to hide in the bathroom because there's other people here, or I go lay in my bed and I just think for a moment, take a moment to pause and meditate. Why did I get that rush of anxiety? What was I thinking about? What's wrong? And as I start to search in, I realize, oh, I'm going to have to visit my parents or my family. Okay, fine. Let's go deeper. Why does this bother me so much? So now I start dropping down. Why does that bother me so much that I have to visit my family? I mean, people have families. Why does that make me so anxious? Oh yeah, because my mom always makes comments. Well, why does that bother me? Everybody's mom makes comments. Oh yeah. Well, when I think about it, it's because I'm afraid she's going to be judgmental. I feel like I'm going to show up and I'm single. And I'm not going to have anybody. And everyone there is just going to start judging me because I'm already 40 years old and I'm not in a marriage and I don't have a girlfriend and everyone's going to be judging me. So basically, it's fear of judgment. So now I got it identified. Okay, great. Now what do? All right, I dropped. Roman said, roll. So we got to roll over to this other side. Now, what would I do if my friend told me, someone who looked up to me, someone who came to me for advice and said, I am so anxious because I have to go visit my family. And I know if I do, my mom's going to make all kinds of comments. And I feel like my family's going to judge me because I'm single. What would I say to my friend? I guess I would tell my friend, your value doesn't come from how others view you. Your family doesn't even really know you. There's nothing wrong with being single. In fact, you have to be single in order to find that special one. If you're always jumping into a relationship, you can never actually meet that soulmate, so to speak, that really special person. Because you're so desperate to have someone, you keep filling the space with these people who end up not appreciating you. So it's good that you're being single because you've been healing, you've been working on yourself. If someone says something judgmental, you should honestly just look at them and tell them, I didn't ask for your opinion. In fact, you can just look at them and be like, I don't need your judgment. You can just say that right to your own family members because it's really not their job to judge you. Human beings can't judge you because human beings can't read your heart. They can't read your intentions. So don't worry about them. Don't worry about their opinion. And right in that moment, I say, man, my anxiety was at a 4. Right now, it's about a 2. I think I can handle this. I think I can handle this. So one of the things that we're looking for, if you want to take this on a deeper psychological level, is the cognitive distortions that will show up, right? So as you're going through and you're dropping down, you keep asking yourself, why is that so important? Why does that bother me? Why is this so crucial? And as you're dropping down, you might identify cognitive distortions in your thinking, right? So if you remember, we talked about cognitive distortions earlier. I think it was last week. Last week we were talking about distortions. And I broke down how these distortions really fall into these 3 main categories. I'm making the rules, the judgments, and the decrees, extreme thinking, nothing in moderation, and negative filtering. Everything is bad. And as you go through, you realize, oh man, I'm seeing a cognitive distortion. That helps you to know where you have a pivot point where you can roll over and change your thinking because you realize this is distorted thinking. For instance, did you notice earlier I had some fairness and rewards distortion there because I said, well, I've done everything for this girl. So I felt like because I've done everything for her, right, she should at least be kind to me. And that seems logical, but it's actually a distortion because the world doesn't work that way. Just because we do good and make sacrifices doesn't mean we're going to get kindness and fairness back. The world is not fair, right? It's also a should statement because I'm saying she should be nice to me, but I don't make the rules, right? It's cognitive distortion, right? And in this situation too, I'm doing a little bit of mind reading with the family. I'm saying they're all going to judge me. That might not really be how they're thinking. When I get there to the family thing, they actually might say, wow, Roman's so cool. He's so smart because I'm in this terrible marriage and he's just single. He's not afraid to be alone. And I'm super codependent. You never know. They might not be looking at you in a judgmental way. So I'm actually distorted in my thinking by assuming that everyone is going to judge me. Right? So on the deeper level, you want to be looking for those negative distortions, mentally identify negative distortions, mind. And that allows you to really catch where you might be going off the rails. So we're going to do a live demonstration. Rachel, are you on our call here?
I am.
Perfect. And I can hear you loud and clear too. Thank you so much. Now, Rachel, can you just confirm for everyone that you're a volunteer and you're not a paid actor? And I didn't force you into this or anything.
Yes, I am absolutely volunteering.
Thank you so much. And thank you in the name of science and all of our emotional difficulties for doing this for us. We appreciate your sacrifice and your openness. So I'm going to work through with you, and I'll kind of demonstrate live for everyone something that you give to us as an example from your own life. So first of all, which emotion, we're going to stop here and identify which emotion would you say you're struggling with? Would it be anxiety, depression, rumination, or anger?
Anxiety completely.
Okay, that makes it simple. So on a scale of 0 to 4, when you're going through this situation, how high is your anxiety?
Right now it's about a 3.8.
Okay. So I'm going to put a line down the middle of my page here so everyone can see my notes as we're working. And when you think about it, what is the perceptions and the situations that you're going through that are making you feel so much anxiety?
This past Friday, I was sat down and told that basically I was 1/100th of a point away from being fired.
Okay. So what does that mean exactly?
Basically, they did a review and you score a certain point, and at a certain level, you either get to stay with the company. It was like my 90-day review. And to me, it was a psychological game because it was it wasn't like a point away. It was 1/100th of a point away. And then my boss said, but your personality is so great, we're going to let you stay and do another 90-day trial period.
So is it that you're at risk of being fired, or is it that they're saying you almost were about to be fired, but they're not going to fire you, they're going to give you another 90 days?
The second one, where basically you're really not good enough, but you're really not good enough to be here, but we're going to kind of push that little button over just to keep you for another 90 days.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So exactly like you said, this psychological manipulation, right?
Yes.
So this is typical narcissistic games. You're not good enough, but I'm so nice that I'm going to let you stay.
Yes.
Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, I got to take a second because that is just pure evil. So Rachel, let's go deep. Let's drop.
Yep.
When you look inside yourself, why does this make you feel so afraid?
Because right now I'm in the middle of purchasing a house, and I would love to walk away from that job, but I can't because then I would lose the house I'm about to buy. So I'm stuck.
Well, I can certainly understand that. If you dig deeper, you're in the middle of this house deal. Your boss is playing games. Why does this trouble you on such a deep level?
Because I don't want to be at that job, but I really don't feel like I have a choice.
Thanks. Is there anything else about this on an emotional level that you want to mention that makes this so troubling?
Going back to work today, feeling like I have no value.
That's an important one. So, Rachel, now we're going to roll over and we're going to go into the mother mind. So, we get to play make believe and you get to pretend for a few minutes that these aren't your problems. And these are the problems of your daughter who loves you so much and looks up to you, and she comes to you for advice. And she knows her mom is wise and loving and will always give her her very best. And that's you. And that probably does describe how you really are. And so she comes to you and says, Mom, can you just please work with me through this here? Work me through this. I was called into the office by the boss, and they basically give me this scenario like, you're not good enough to be here, but we're so nice that we're going to let you stay. And so they say I have another 90 days, and that's got me feeling really afraid and anxious because I'm in the middle of buying a house, and I feel stuck. I feel like I don't have a choice but to just sit here and to be bullied. What are your thoughts on that, Mom?
I would say, but sweetheart, you don't like your job anyway. And you've worked really hard to get this house. You've done things really well in the past to always accomplish your goals. You only have to put up with this a little bit longer. So keep working very hard. Prove to them that you're more than what they think until you've reached your goal, and then get out.
Could I do that? Could I get out, Mom?
Yep. The day you get your house closed, sweetheart, I'll come get you. We'll go have lunch.
Wow, Mom. That's so BA. Like, I feel like I'm just playing them when I do that.
Well, it's okay. I got your back.
Thanks. That's amazing to know that I have someone who cares about me so much, because these people certainly don't care about me, Mom. Why do you think they would do that? Why do you think they would play a game, like a sick game with me, and play my anxiety against myself and my self-worth against myself? Why would they do that, Mom?
Sweetheart, I don't have an answer to that. I'm not inside their minds. I don't understand their thinking. I can't give you a real honest answer coming from Mom, but just know that there's going to be an end to it. And when the end comes, I'm still going to be here.
Thank you. You know, when I went back to work, and you're making me feel a lot better, but when I went back to work, I felt awful. Like, not only was my anxiety high about everything I'm doing, but I just felt like I have no value. What do you think, Mom? Is it true that I don't have value?
That is absolutely not true. You've always had value in my eyes and many, many people's eyes. You may not have a lot of value to what they're saying. And when you walk in those doors at that job, but gosh, I don't know what to say.
Mom, you're helping me so much. Thank you.
I don't know.
I appreciate the way that you said, Mom, that I just need to use this, reach my goal, and get out. It almost makes me feel like there's something I can control here.
You do have control at the very end.
I love that. That's so right. If I focus on what I do have control over, then that's the point in which I'm powerful. If I focus on the things I don't control, which is their choice, because obviously they can just fire me anytime. But if I constantly focus on that, I'm going to feel miserable. And I hate that feeling. And I hate this job.
Absolutely.
I hate this job. I don't even like the job. Honestly, if it wasn't for this deal, if they fired me, I'd kind of feel like it was a good thing. Is that crazy, Mom? That I almost feel like it would be a good thing if I lost this job?
No, not at all, sweetheart.
My boss is so creepy. Like, why would he bring me in, sit me down, and just to tell me that I'm not good enough, but he's so nice that he's going to do me the favor of letting me stay? Are you kidding me? No. I I know I can do better than this, Mom.
I agree. You've always done better than this.
Yeah, for sure. So, okay, what do you think my next move is?
Call Roman. You asked.
A good plan. But you know, yeah, as far as this situation, like, what do you think? What do you think I should do?
You're asking me as a person?
Well, yeah, you're my
Me as a
mom.
mom?
You're the one who's smart and has all this life knowledge. Like, you've got me all hyped up now. I almost want to get fired. So, so
No, I want the house. I want the house more.
do you think there's any actionable steps I can take right now? Maybe that's something I can ask Roman about.
Yeah. When I have Roman on speed dial too, I'll call him up and, sir, can you tell me what to do?
Sounds like a plan. Thank you so much for this, Mama. It's been so helpful. So we'll end the exercise there. And Rachel, when you look at things from this perspective, do you feel like you could apply a little bit more of this way of thinking to yourself?
I do. I do. And it's not easy, but yeah.
And when you do, where would you place your anxiety on a scale of 0 to 4?
Right now,
Yeah.
about a 2.5.
Nice. That's amazing progress. So thank you so much, Rachel, for sharing with us and helping us to jump in and really see how this can work in real time. And I do look forward to that call, by the way. So thank you everyone for being here tonight and being a part of this discussion. The JAP method is a tool for you to use for yourself. So that's why I'm going into detail to show you how to use it. You have the ability to regulate your own emotional state. You can take yourself from a 4 to a 2, a 3 to a 1, sometimes even better, depending on your personal situation. And you're doing this within 15 minutes, utilizing this method. So please become a master of this technique. Familiarize yourself with the cognitive distortions and use this method every time you ruminate, every time you're feeling anxiety, depression, when the time and space is appropriate for you to get alone, stop, drop, and roll, and regulate your anxiety. So that's the end of our call, but I'm going to stay on here in case anyone has any direct questions about the JOT method. I'm only answering questions right now about the JOT method. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and unmute and ask those questions now.
I have a question. So, like, I have a similar situation with work where I wasn't let go, but I just volunteered myself to leave or to get off that one assignment. And so with that, I got really depressed because I know I messed up a lot. I wasn't producing and just, I just wasn't doing well. So I feel my question is, like, I don't even know what to tell what to tell myself, because I know what I did. I messed up. I was, so it's not, I
You
don't have
can't
anyone to blame, in other words.
you cannot outthink the JOT method. You must do the JOT method. Then when you're doing the method, you'll be in the process. Then you go into the mind state to pretend. You cannot not do the JOT method, sit back and ask yourself, what will I say when I get there and I'm in the JOT method? That's not doing the JOT method. So what I would advise for you is stop, drop, roll, trust the process. And after you've actually taken the time to do the process and you're still having trouble, then reach out to me or Marissa and we'll help you work through it.
Yes, sir. I may need help, just at least going. I mean, I was paying attention to the example with this other in this scenario, but I just don't know if I have the wisdom to talk to myself.
You have the wisdom, but you need to trust the process. You cannot say before you do the process, I don't know if I'll be able to do the process. Do the process. Then after you're done with the process, if you're having trouble, after you've done the process, then reach out to Melissa or Marissa or myself, We'll be happy to help you. Is there any other questions about the
Thank
JOT
you so
method?
much.
No problem, Letty. Is there any other questions about the JOT method specifically? Pamela?
Yes. What I had to step away for a minute and I missed what the roll was, the roll part.
So the roll is rolling it over so you're seeing the other side of it. The way you would roll a rock over, or the way you would flip a coin, so that you can see it from the other perspective. So rolling is rolling it over. And what you're doing to do that is pretending that you're talking to someone else and you're giving them advice as their mentor or their parent or a trusted friend.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Coach Lowe?
So I used the JOT method just the other day because I was feeling some type of way about my mom, and it it loosened up a lot of anger and anxiety. But I wanted, because I didn't even know I had these thoughts about her, but I just put the line down the middle and I just started writing all the thoughts I had about the behaviors or the treatment. And then I did the wise parent, and it just did it last night and I felt so much better. It's phenomenal. But I was thinking dang, well, how often should I do this? Because I don't want to how do I know how many times I should do it? That's really my question. Should I, because I've had issues with her for years and I can't even believe how much better I feel today just in my own body about it. So I'm should I do this every night? I just don't, and I don't want to ruminate on her too much or anything like that, but yeah.
Yeah, great question. Do it every single time you have anxiety or depression or rumination or anger. If you feel like you're having it and you can't just regulate it in the moment just by standing there and just breathing, do the JAP method every time. The emotions that you're feeling are the communication from your subconscious that it needs you to work through something. So you can do it. Sometimes that means multiple times a day. You got to sit back down. Oh my God, I got to do this again and do the whole thing and work through the whole process, but it will make you feel better again. And it'll make you feel better again. And it's great if you suffer from insomnia, do it right before bed so you can cure your anxiety, then get a little bit of rest. And I've fallen asleep doing the JOT method multiple times because it's calming. And so finally it's oh, I can relax, I can go to sleep. I'm pressed for time, so I can take a few more questions, but please keep your questions brief, 30 seconds or less. I have a hand up here, Allie.
Thank you, Roman. This is really helpful. I'm curious to know if, for example, do you recommend us writing this in a journal on a scrap piece of paper? I think there would be value in retaining the actual work through so that we could refer back to it. So maybe in a journal, or I don't know if we have a journal or keep notes for classes like this, groups like this.
The other day I was in a restaurant and my phone was dead and I got a bad feeling, and I told the waiter to bring me a piece of scrap paper and a pencil, and got busy right there in the restaurant regulating the emotional state. So I write it everywhere, on the back of my hand, on scrap receipts. I have a journal as well. Use your phone in the notes section of the phone. So use whatever you can get at your disposal when you need it. Regulate. Doesn't matter what you use, regulate. Can you go back to old ones and reread them? Yeah. And will it help? Sometimes. But sometimes you might read it and say, well, this isn't helping. Okay, that's fine. Rework the whole process. Start all over again in that case. But sometimes rereading does help.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that sounds really great. I'm looking forward to trying this, the JOT method. And what does JOT stand for?
Journaling organizes thoughts.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Allie.
Yeah, thank you.
Am I saying that right? Haley?
Hi, Roman.
Hey, is that
So
how I
what
pronounce
if,
it? Haley?
yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Okay, cool.
So what if I am distorting the situation and really what I am thinking is incorrect and I'm just perceiving them and what they're trying to the point that they're trying to get across to me, and I'm kind of manipulating myself in a way, if that makes
80% of the
sense.
time, 80% of the time, we are distorted in our thinking. So when you do the JAP method, it helps you to organize, find the distortion, and then correct the distortion by going into your mother mind. 80% of the time, you will find that there is some type of distortion in your thinking. And that's why I have that list of cognitive distortions, because it helps you to realize, oh man, I actually am distorting. So it's actually very common.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it works for situations where you might be distorting the situation as well.
Right. I always feel like I need a third person to help clarify. I guess
Yes,
that's
yes,
me.
yes. That is you going into your conscious mind, and that will be your third person. Yes. It is untrue that we always need another person. That is not true. We can many times regulate ourselves. We are built that way. We are designed to be able to regulate the self. It's not easy. Most people don't know how to do this. Even most of your psychologists and therapists that you've been seeing, many of them don't know how to do this. So it's not common knowledge, but I'm working on that. So it starts here, me teaching it to you guys, and I'm going to try to expand the knowledge over the next several years as far as I can get it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Is there any other questions on this, or we feel like we got the JOT method pretty well figured out? Awesome.